This is Selling Susquehanna with Lise Barrick, your guide to the heart of Pennsylvania real estate.
Welcome back to Selling Susquehanna. I'm Chad Evans inside the Stone State studio with my friend Lise Barrick.
I love that flair.
I'm trying to get my hair floppy, but I can't do it.
Gotcha.
Remax Bridges, Lewisburg.
Nice.
Here we go. How you doing?
I am well.
I'm busy.
Tired. I'm tired.
Yeah, spring has sprung for you for sure.
Yeah.
So what's it like out there?
It's crazy. I mean, it's a great market right now.
Are we surprised that it's a great market? Or, I mean...
it was really kind of weird. The beginning of the year was really kind of weird. It was kind of hard to predict, what was going to happen, because it seemed, to me anyway, it seemed unusually slow. Like a really slow start. And then it was pretty much mid-March, it started to pick up. And then it was just bam. So the last month during which I've spent very little time at home has been really crazy. But, properties are selling and it's busy, and there were so many people that said, "Oh, the rates are up so high," which again, how I rolled my eyes at that. But anyway, it's going to be terrible. Nobody's going to be. People are buying. People are selling. They're going quickly. Multiple offers above list price. Not every single house, but quite a few of them.
Yeah.
So, which then makes for an even crazier market as from the agent's perception, because any seller wants to get their house on the market right now, and any buyer wants to get into that house right now. And if there's one of you and a certain number of hours in a day, it's a little logistically difficult.
But you are there doing the best that you can.
I am doing the best that I can.
Yeah, a lot of plates in the air, as they say.
Yeah. So it's long hours, but it's not just me. A lot of the agents are we all commiserate, long hours, not much time at home.
Yeah.
The personal life is
Yeah.
But
I mean, we talked about a lot of times the work-life balance of it all.
Yeah, it's not balanced at all right now.
But it's it's feeding season. It's
and that's the thing. This is a kind of a cyclical business.
Yeah.
There's certain periods throughout the year where the market is really elevated and really busy, and this is kind of the prime season where you make a lot of your income. So if you don't show up, you're going to be sitting in December not that, I always say properties sell 12 months out of the year. If they did not, I'd take 6 months off every year. And that's not the case. So, but this is just, the prime season. It's almost like, I don't know, you could equate it to a restaurant down at the beach or down the shore, depending on if you're from Jersey, down the shore.
Down the
or
shore.
From here, it's at the beach. It depends which one of my friends I'm talking to. But, that they close up in maybe after Labor Day or whatever, and they kind of pull down their shutter and they say, see you in May or whatever it is that the season. And then they work like crazy. 7 days a week, maybe they take one day off, and that's the day to do payroll, inventory, ordering, all that kind of stuff, cleanup, repairs, whatever. Because that's their season. That's when they're making the bulk of their income for the year. So, real estate in a way is similar to that. So you've got to pull up your shutter and be ready to go.
Well, your shutter's up.
Yes.
Right now, you're open for business.
Yes, open for business.
Just not 24/7.
Yeah. So right. No.
Right. We don't want that to happen.
Yeah.
You sleep
That's
too.
Still, well, a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit.
But anyway, the other piece of that, I have to say, I was explaining this to somebody else in my personal life, who maybe I'm not spending as much time with as I should be, that I also have to remember that it is truly a blessing every time somebody calls me, refers me, brings their now adult child to me and says they want to buy a house, or I need to sell my home, or my parents' home needs to be sold, or a colleague from another area refers me. Those people are trusting me to take care of them. And what a blessing that is.
Yeah.
I mean, to have that responsibility, somebody trusts you with that responsibility, I want you to do it. So how are you going to say no to them?
Right. Yeah.
You know? So then you say like, okay, I guess I'm working again all this weekend, but you know what? You do it because that's a great responsibility.
Sure it is.
And
not everybody has that responsibility.
you're fortunate to have be given that. So.
Right. Yeah, you got to take a minute to count your blessings.
You got to be grateful for it too.
Yeah.
You know?
For sure.
You got to be grateful.
For sure.
So I'm trying to be grateful.
But it's busy.
It is busy.
It is.
It is busy. Yeah. So
we want you to like and subscribe with Selling Susquehanna, help get the word out, and certainly refer Lisa with the buying and selling of your homes and your houses and buildings and all that stuff.
Yep.
And we also encourage you to submit your questions, and you can do that through her social media channels that she checks periodically.
Yes. No, I mean, I'm trying to get better.
Slide up into Lisa's DMs. So these questions are all really great questions, and we got 3 of them for the podcast today, okay? This first question is a question that I should have asked because I pass these signs, I feel, every day on my commute to work here. Here's the question. My daughter needs to sell her house quickly. Everything needs to be
Everybody
fast.
does.
It's got to go right now, today. So my daughter needs to sell her house quickly, and she is considering calling one of those companies that advertise that they will buy your house for a quick cash sale. We'll buy. I see these little signs all the time. They're like little political signs. Hey, we're going to buy your house. We can buy it. Yeah, it don't matter.
We will buy your house for cash.
So this person says it seems like it's a win-win, but then her friend came along and said it kind of sounds too good to be true, which is probably accurate. But you know what signs I'm talking about.
Oh, absolutely.
All right. So what can we say about this?
Yes. So
How's
first of all, what the friend said. If it seems to be too good to be true, it probably is, like anything else.
Yeah.
It's, too easy. There's a lot of pieces to that, but I'll talk specifically about the companies to begin with. So these companies, they make some claims, and they're not necessarily true claims. They're false claims. So the fact that they will pay cash for your home at what value? It will most likely not be anywhere near what the market value nor the appraised value of your home is. They are looking, obviously, to make a bargain because what they're going to do is sort of flip it. But they don't always... It's not that they necessarily buy your house and then fix it up and then flip it. What they do, although their contracts, I learned, don't always actually say it, the contract they have you sign without legal representation, mind you, they don't necessarily have in there that they need to find a buyer for your home from them before they will close on it. So this is like me saying to you, hey, Chad, I'll buy your house and I'm going to pay you cash. It's worth what, $200,000? I'll give you $100,000 cash and I'll close in 30 days. And you're like, well, that would be nuts. I hope you'd say no. But anyway, right. But say you're in a desperate situation.
Yeah.
You're in a terrible market. There's horrible things that are around your house. You've got a nuclear plant surrounding your house and you're never going to sell it. And you're like, I have no choice. I'm going to take that $100,000 and run. Oh, great. Well, we'll have our notary come in and you sign all these papers and we'll, 30 days from now, we'll close on your house. In the meantime, that notary takes a couple of little pictures of your house in whatever state it happens to be in at that time. So you've got like a pile of laundry over here, a bunch of shoes in the corner, kids' stuff, toys are all over, whatever. Suddenly those pictures show up online on Zillow or whatever other sites. That company is trying to sell your house because they need to find a buyer for your house, secure a buyer. Then they'll close on your house and then turn it over to this buyer. But that buyer's probably paying the $200,000, not the $100,000.
So they're paying you on the close.
Yeah, but they need to find another buyer first. So I say, like, I'll pay you $100,000. I have you sign this agreement that you really don't know what you're signing because nobody's advising you whatsoever. They're just sliding it to you and having you sign it. Turns out that company, I say, well, I'll close on it, but I got to find another buyer for it who will buy it from me first, and then I'll close on it. And you're like, wait, I got to wait for that. So now there's like people coming through your house.
Oh.
And I'm not closing on it. So meanwhile, you've made an offer on another house, and you're trying to buy that house. You're trying to get a mortgage. You've spent a bunch of money on inspections, title insurance, appraisal fees, application fees, thousands of dollars. You've started to pack up your stuff, all this kind of stuff. And, oh no, we haven't found another person. We haven't found a third party to buy the house from us yet, so we can't close on it for you.
You're stuck.
And now you got a seller who thinks that you're buying their house, but you can't buy their house because your house isn't really under agreement.
Right.
So that's the kind of stuff they do. And people don't necessarily understand, because again, they're signing paperwork without any representation. There's no agent involved. There's nobody reading all this stuff to make sure they are protected. Nothing in the agreement protects the buyer or the seller at all. It's not a Pennsylvania Association of Realtors state form. It's their form that their attorneys crafted. It's just a really bad situation.
What are the signs to look for? Like if you're buying a home and you're on one of these websites, how do you know that you're buying from because they don't seem reputable.
No, they're not. Honestly, I'm not familiar with it from that end, from people that go on there to buy the houses. Well, I would assume that would be a train wreck too, because they think this company, I'm trying not to reference any of the actual legal names of these companies. Not like they're going to sue me, but whatever. I'm just trying to be good. But they're representing that they can sell a certain piece of real estate, but they don't actually own it yet. Mm-hmm. So they're called wholesalers. Sorry, I should have kind of started with that. So they're called wholesalers. So when I used to be on the board of the Pennsylvania Association of Realtors, and when I'd go to the meetings, there was always a legislative meeting because the Pennsylvania Association of Realtors has direct lines to our state legislator. So there would always be agents and brokers getting up and going on about how PAR, Pennsylvania Association of Realtors, had to push to get more legislation against these wholesalers. And typically it was a lot of brokers from Pittsburgh, Philly, Pocono area, those kind of areas. And I kind of listened to it, but I never really, I had never been involved with one before. So I kind of was not real familiar with it. I had an idea of what it was. Now, sadly, I do have direct knowledge of how they work, much to some people's detriment. And it's horrible. I mean, it's really heartbreaking what ends up happening to people as a result of getting tangled up with these companies. So if you see one of those signs, keep driving. Don't take down the number. Don't call them. Call a realtor. Call any realtor. I believe me, they will have your best interest in mind. Those companies don't have a code of ethics.
No.
We have both a national and a state code of ethics that we have to follow, or we're going to have serious repercussions.
Yeah.
They also, as far as I can tell, don't have their own internal morality and ethics. I mean, it's really terrible.
And I think if it was a win-win, if it was, you would probably hear more about it. If you'd be like, you got to check this out.
If it was that fabulous, everybody would be successfully doing it. And there might not be a need for my industry, you know? It doesn't. Yeah. It doesn't. If it seems too good to be true, it absolutely is in this case. Don't do it. Don't do it.
Just call Lise.
And part of that I thought of in the beginning when you were asking the question. Sometimes people are in desperate situations.
Right.
They're in desperate financial situations, and they feel like they have no place to turn. And they are looking for a really quick, easy way out. There's no such thing. Right. There's no, in anything in life, there's no such thing as a quick, easy way out to anything.
Right.
And I can specifically speak to real estate. There definitely is not. Talk to an agent, get some real, actual legal advice. We're not attorneys, but we can at least tell you about the legalities we learn real estate law.
You can consult the situation.
Right, exactly. Sure. And then refer you to an actual attorney. I'm not practicing law without a license. But just get somebody who's going to give you real advice. And, I've had a couple people in the past who I have been able to help get out of foreclosure and short sale situations.
Wow.
Because they were desperate. Yeah. They thought there was no other alternative. And I said to them, your house is actually worth such and such in today's market. And they're like, really? I said, let's just try it. And we have, and it's been successful.
Yeah.
So just go to somebody who actually knows what they're doing and has some...
It's just the right way.
Yeah.
Just do it the right way.
Yeah.
There's help to be had out there.
Oh, yeah.
So
absolutely.
That's another nice short answer that you had.
When you said there was only 3 questions, I was like, oh, this is going to be a short episode. But then I opened my mouth.
Question number 2. No, that was a really good explanation about those companies. Okay, I know we talked about this before, and it's. I still think it's a really good question. So, question number 2, again, all anonymous. What is the one area of your house that you should spend money on for a large return when you sell? What is it? The kitchen?
Yeah, I mean, it's typically like kitchens and bathrooms. Those are the things that people most typically want to see that are upgraded. Adding square footage is always, but that's probably not exactly what this person is asking about. But obviously, that always adds value because it's $1 per square foot. So you're always adding on value. Things like if you're in an area where everybody else, the comparable comparable properties all have central air conditioning. You don't have air conditioning. You should probably put in central air. Part of that is just if you're putting your house on the market, to compete with other properties that are on the market, you're probably not going to get quite as much. Or the other thing is with any updates, especially if you kind of know what the quality of the properties that are around you that are selling, you at least want to be equal to them, if not a little better, because they're gonna, if you are selling, I mean, if you're not selling, it's just for your own enjoyment, but it's gonna sell faster. And some people, well, and for, a good amount, a fair amount, exactly. The part about selling faster, it's not all just about like just getting the process over faster. It's what we call carrying costs.
Okay.
So the longer your house is on the market, the more carrying costs you have. So if you have a mortgage, you're making more principal and interest payments, possibly PMI. If you have PMIs, is getting into other details, possibly some other fees, depending on what kind of financing you did. You've got insurance, you've got taxes, you've got maintenance, you've got, whatever, utilities, all those things.
Okay.
If you've already moved and your house is sitting empty, well, now you can't even do those things yourself. Like if you live out of the area, now you got to pay somebody to mow your lawn, shovel your snow, clean your house. Empty houses, people think like, well, it's totally empty. I don't need to do anything. Empty houses get dirty. They just get dirty by, I don't even know. I don't know the science behind it, but you wouldn't believe how many dead bugs land in empty houses. How? I have no idea. But how many stink bugs are currently floating around in my house, I mean, not the dead ones, but those buggers just keep
populating.
And I live there. So
just show up.
Yeah, exactly. So can you imagine with an empty house? They're just all, so you still need to have the house cleaned. So you have all those costs every single month. So the more things you can do to enhance your home, but at the end of the day, I think I've talked about this before. Any of those things that you do to your house, you can't expect that you're not going to get dollar per dollar what you put into it. So if you put in $100,000 kitchen, an appraiser, unless you just finished yesterday, an appraiser is probably going to give you maybe about 70% of that in the value, which the realtor who's doing a market analysis for your home, it should resemble pretty closely what a future appraisal is going to be on your home. This two should be aligning. Just one's done by a certified appraiser. So you're not going to get dollar for dollar. So if you're doing it and expecting that, just forget it. Unless when you are selling eventually, you're in a major up market, then you might. But that's really just supply and demand, kind of thing.
So it's not an in-ground pool.
So pools.
Let's talk about pools.
Okay, pools are tough because some people love a pool and want a pool, particularly an in-ground pool. Myself being one of them. Yeah. Tim, I hope you're listening to this. So I love pools. I grew up with a pool, all that kind of thing. So to me, it has some value. To a lot of buyers, it has zero value, and they're going to fill it in. They don't want a pool. They hate pools. They don't want the maintenance of a pool. They don't want the expense of a pool, et cetera, et cetera. They don't like water. I don't know. Yeah. But anyway, so to some people, it's a complete detriment. Some people won't even look at a house that has a pool. They don't want to deal with it. So when it comes to valuing a pool, most of the time an appraiser and an agent will not give any value to it at all. We just leave it. Now, if you have extensive hardscaping and landscaping and stuff like that as a result of having that, then there's some adjustment for that kind of stuff. But the pool itself doesn't necessarily add value, which is, painful because some people put in really ornate pools.
Sure.
I mean,
Yeah.
with waterfalls coming down, and
Yeah.
I mean, they're
The whole thing.
6 figures plus.
What about
to put those in? But
what about like a detached garage? Does that add value
yes,
to them?
that definitely adds value.
Good.
Yep.
Thank
Yep.
you.
Yeah.
I was right.
Oh yeah, garages definitely add value. Even outbuildings add
Yeah.
value. Now, sometimes again, there are certain things that to an actual buyer have more value. Like they're going to be willing to pay more for. To me, outbuildings, extra garages, things like that have value because I have a significant other who
Yeah.
will fill them with tractors and trucks and equipment and stuff like that. To other people, they have no value because they just don't need that kind of thing. But they still, appraisal wise, will get value.
Okay.
Yeah, they
Great.
will get value. So if you're talking just statistics and that kind of thing, raw numbers,
Okay.
those things absolutely will get value. But yeah, but the things, if you're looking like, okay, I need to update my house because I'm going to be putting it on the market in a year or two, kitchens and bathrooms would probably be the number one things
go
that
wrong.
I would say. Yeah,
Okay.
absolutely. Absolutely.
One more question.
That was another long answer, and I could have just said that. But what would be the fun of that?
We just can't say yes or no. We have to have open-ended questions. Final question
back there laughing.
for another anonymous person brought this question in for Selling Susquehanna. It says, why can't I look at a property if it's under agreement?
You can. Couple things. So under agreement, just for anybody that does not know, that means the seller has accepted an offer and it's marked as pending or active contingent in the MLS and Zillow
Okay.
and Realtor, whatever. So they have accepted an offer. So if a seller will allow people to still come through and look at their home, even though they've already accepted an offer, you certainly can from that respect. Most agents will deter you from doing that. And I'll tell you why I deter buyers from doing that. Because what's going to happen when you go through that home and it's everything you've ever dreamed of, you love it so much, it's right in your price range, everything about it is so perfect, but you can't buy it because it's already under agreement. Somebody else already has a contract on it. And then that sale to what end? So you're just like, for my buyer clients, I'm like, no, why are you going to put yourself through that?
Yeah.
You could totally love it. And right now it's not available to buy. You can write a backup offer on a house, but most of the time that's a waste of time. It's a waste of emotional energy.
So when you're under
really.
agreement and then you're like, people can come in and still look at it. And then what happens if somebody says, I'll give you double right now? Can't do it.
They have already signed a binding contract, and that contract is binding as long as it doesn't have a contingency that's contingent upon the sale of a home. And I'm not going to get into all that minutia because that'll just be confusing. And boy, I'll just talk forever. But they've already got a binding contract, and it's actually pre-printed in the agreement.
Okay.
The standard agreement of sale that once they've accepted an offer, it is binding unless, the buyer exceeds their due diligence period or something like that happens.
Okay.
So, most of the time what I do for my buyer clients is I just say like, hey, I'm going to keep an eye on it. And if it comes back on the market or I get an inkling from that agent that things aren't looking so good and it's probably going to fall through, you'll be first in line to get in there if you have not found something else in the meantime.
Okay.
But otherwise, it's just a effort and futility to, drag yourself through it and be like, oh, I really would have liked this.
So don't torture yourself.
This would have been perfect. My kids would have been so happy here.
You're like, no, they wouldn't. There's other houses. There's other properties.
Like, I'm sure there's mold.
Yeah, I guarantee.
I'm just
My
kidding.
gosh. As my hero Howard Stern would say, Lisa, you said it all.
Oh, I thought you were going to call me your hero.
Oh,
I was like,
no.
Oh.
Lisa,
All
of
right,
course.
Howard Stern.
You're my hero.
Whatever.
This was a lot of fun. You covered off
Yeah.
a lot of answers just with these 3 questions.
Yeah.
I think you said a lot.
Well,
in those 3
I
questions.
said a lot. I don't know if I actually said a lot.
But it's Selling Susquehanna. We're going to do it again next month with more questions. And if you want your questions submitted, all you got to do is submit it. Just give it to Lisa.
Yes.
Find her on Instagram and Facebook. And obviously, like and subscribe on YouTube as you're watching Selling Susquehanna right here in central Pennsylvania, the Susquehanna River Valley and beyond. And then just reach out to Lisa if you need anything, if you want to buy or sell, whatever.
Yeah.
Property. Not boats or cars or... You don't do that.
Oh,
those are my
wow.
other friends.
Let me tell you, we get dragged into that kind of stuff too, but that's a whole nother.
That's another podcast altogether.
But that's another conversation, and I've already talked enough.
For Lisa Barrick, I'm Chad Evans, and this is Selling Susquehanna. Friends, we'll see you next time.